Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Why I Love Flagler County, your local podcast spotlighting local businesses and local residents on what they love about being a part of Flagler County. So today I'm super excited to have my guest Jason with us today. Jason, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm excited because
Excited.
Jason has a really cool business on what he does. So I'll let him talk about it and discuss it because I know there's a lot of questions when someone mentions, solar and power and what does that even mean? We see stuff on social media like I don't know what any of this means. So I'll let Jason talk about that, but first I'll let him, explain a little bit about coming here to Flagler, coming here to Florida, and how's that been for you, Jason?
So we moved to Flagler County in 2003 from Orlando. We're Italians from New Jersey, shocker. And we moved to Orlando in the 1980s, and the crime was getting pretty bad where we were living at, and so my grandparents and my mom and my brothers and sister were looking for a new place to live, and they found Flagler County in 2003. The property prices were like ridiculous low. I think we paid like $11,000 for our lots way back then, and there was nothing. It was like there was no internet out here. There, I think they were just finished building the Walmart. Like it was like every road was 2 lanes. So it was like a big shocker for me. So I did not like Palm Coast when we moved here because I came from the city,
Right.
and but I love it now. I've got a lot of family here, nieces and nephews. It's a really safe place, compared to places where I've lived before, and I love the community. And I never thought I would say that, but like I fell in love with Flagler County, and I don't plan on ever moving anywhere else. Like
Yeah.
this is where I want to grow old at. So,
Nice. Well, I'm glad
and
you
it's
grew.
it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. There's a lot of Italian New Jerseyans here. I've noticed. I think there's like
Yes.
you're probably the sixth or seventh I've had on a podcast, and like probably the fourth from BNI, being like, yeah, I'm Italian. My family's originally from New Jersey. That's really cool. I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's why they
Yeah.
have the
There's a
Italian
big
club, right?
yeah. There's the American Italian Club, and there's a big community. Yeah. There's a lot of Yankees here in Palm Coast.
I always wanted to be Italian. I was always upset that I wasn't Italian growing up. I was like, why am I Asian? I wanted to be Italian. And my parents were like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so
I
cool.
didn't have a choice in the matter either.
Yeah, it's something that, you can't really change,
Right.
unfortunately. But I mean it's cool being Asian, for sure.
Yes.
Not knocking that. Well, I'd love to talk a little bit about legacy power.
Okay.
So, of course, number one, what is that? So talk a little bit about solar. I know there's so many things out there. So why don't you tell a little bit about you getting into solar and then maybe some questions that people usually have.
Okay. So my journey into getting into the solar industry was I had a construction background. Um, since I was like 18 years old, I worked in the construction industry. I was primarily a tile, marble, and stone installer, and home remodeling. Um, I wanted to get out of that. And then so I started like cooking at a restaurant because I know how to cook too. So I was like the chef at a restaurant here in town. And COVID started in
Mhm.
2018, and the restaurant industry kind of got destroyed for a while. Um, so I couldn't make ends meet. My brother had a friend who worked in the solar industry already, and it was the uh, fastest growing industry in America at the time. And with no experience, but I had construction background, I got hired on as an installer. Um, and so I was installing solar is how I got into it. So I was on the roof installing solar, doing the electrical on the roof, and and really just started falling in love with that industry because it's a mix of like computer technology and swinging a hammer and using a drill and being in work boots and you know uh, and manual labor. And so that was cool because I'm like kind of techie, but I'm also I can swing a hammer and read a measuring tape. So that was a good
Nice.
bonus. So I liked it because we're on our phones and hooking up systems and getting the solar panels to communicate with the combiner box on the side of the house, and it's very technical because everything's monitored because people want to know how much solar their solar panels are generating. So everything is like counted, and everything communicates with each other with Wi-Fi and technology. So it was cool. I did that for about 2 years installing, and I was in my mid 40s, and I was like, okay, like I need to, transition to a different area in the industry because I can't be on a roof for 12 hours a day, dying in the Florida sun. So I moved over into site surveying, which is like getting all the information the engineers need for the blueprints to put the solar panels on the roof. Um, I did that for about 2.5 years with Legacy Power. When they came to Florida, I moved right over to their company because if you're in the solar industry, you had heard of Legacy Power. It was a really good company. They were growing really fast, and the leadership knew what they were doing, and they were just bringing the company in a good direction. So I moved over to Legacy. Our office is in Orlando, and I did site surveying for 2 years, and then I I wanted to see if I could bridge the gap between operations and sales, and so I made the jump after thinking about it for almost a year. And not many guys do that from the operations side, move over into sales. But with my hands-on experience, I had like a unique skill set and knowledge of how solar actually works, and I thought that would help the homeowners that I helped
Yeah.
understand it and just give them some real honesty about how solar works and whether it can benefit them or not. Um, and so I chose to do that, and it was a what's the word? It was a bit of a transition, a totally different industry and profession. But I love it. I get a lot more freedom with my schedule, and I really get to help people out. Uh, because electric prices are just out of control the past couple of years. They've just, with inflation, the electric prices have just gone up, up, and up, and uh, and they don't seem like they're going to stop anytime soon.
Right.
Um, you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
that's so cool. And it's so awesome that, you were there, like, you had installed it, like you said, you had the tech side and then you had the physical side. And it gives you a very unique perspective on it. Is a question that someone asked, like, how is this going to be installed? It's like, oh, well, I have installed them before. I know exactly what the process is going to be like, what that's going to be to you. And I was talking to Jeff McFarland from BNI from Mac Atlantic. And when he used to be in construction, but moved into inspecting. But because he has that construction background, he was saying that he gets this completely unique perspective when he goes into these houses because he just instantly knows things. And I'm sure that's very similar to you. It's like you can look at the house, you can look at so many other aspects that that I don't know when it comes to it.
right.
And you just know exactly like, okay, this is how it's going to benefit you the most. This is why it's going to benefit the most. And then this is what it's going to mean to you in the long run. So that's super cool. I know that we were also talking, and you've mentioned a few times that sometimes people hear solar and sometimes they might get freaked out, or, they might get confused, like, what does that mean? How does this really benefit? Is it really benefit? What are some of the common misconceptions that people have about solar, or the common questions people have about solar that you can answer really quick?
So I would say a big one that I run into, and this is because there's ads everywhere that solar is free and the government's going to pay for you to get solar, or the state of Florida is going to pay for you to get solar panels, and that is incorrect. Um, Solar is not free. Um, uh, Solar works even when it's raining. Um, that I've heard people say that, oh, it's going to power my house through the night, and that's not how it actually works. Because if the sun's not out, your solar panels are not going to work. But they'll generate more energy during the day than you use, so you're just using what you've already produced at night. They work when it rains. They work when it's cloudy out. Just like you'll still get a suntan at the beach. You won't get as bad as a sunburn, but you still will. So you get power from that still. Um, Solar's a scam. That's a big one. Like solar's a scam. The technology doesn't work. That's 100% incorrect. The technology is better than it's ever been. And the utility companies are building solar fields everywhere, so that they get renewable energy and cheaper energy for themselves. Otherwise, if it didn't work, they wouldn't be building solar fields all over, which they are. Um,
Hmm.
there are usually no upfront costs. We have programs to where you're not going to pay anything out of pocket. Um, my roof is going to leak. That's a big one. If you go with Legacy, you get a 25-year warranty on roof penetrations, which is the highest in the industry. Um, and we warranty and guarantee everything we do. Legacy is a really good company. We only do residential solar, and we're in 31 states. And we've been around for 10 years. So
Nice.
we have a partnership with the Home Depot. We're the only solar company that has a partnership with the Home Depot. Partner with the Utah Jazz. We do all their solar panels at their arena. Um, so yeah, I think that's or oh, I can't sell my house. That's a big one. Like I'm not going to be able to
Oh,
sell my house. So the old way they used to do financing for solar, that was kind of true. Now it's 100% transferable when you sell your house.
okay.
Or people be like, oh, nobody's going to buy my house because it has solar on it. A lot of people want solar on their houses, so it opens up a totally different market for your home. And I'll tell people, like, if you have a pool at your house and a potential home buyer is looking for a house without a pool, they're not even going to come look at your house.
Right.
But people that want pools are going to come look at your house. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't fill in your pool with cement to sell it to somebody that doesn't want a pool. So there are people that actually want the benefits of solar because it locks in your electricity price,
Right.
and over time it builds up, so it does become a benefit because with the increasing rates of electricity, the more time that goes by, the more money that you save with solar.
Right.
um,
Yeah, that's super cool. I never thought, I didn't know that people had a concern about selling their house, but that would make so much sense. Is
yeah,
not every house is for everyone, and that's just how it is. You want the house that it's perfect for them, and chances are, if the house is perfect for them, that they'll usually those people they find a way, especially with this, the market that's going on
right.
in right now. But yeah, this is super cool to learn. I don't think I knew any of this, so it's super awesome. And you talked a little bit about solar fields. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been to Disney World a few times. Around Epcot, they have a solar field, and
Yes.
you drive by. It's huge. I don't know if anyone's seen it. If anyone's listening and they haven't seen it, it's gigantic. I remember I saw it every time I passed by and we went to the Epcot parking lot. It's huge. So if someone, I guess, I think we think Disney has a lot of money and then they try to cut, they like to cut corners where they can. So
Right.
clearly that's something that they rely on a lot as well. So I think that's a little bit helpful for people to have some reference of what that looks like. Well, Jason, thank you so much for coming on and sharing a few
No
minutes of your
problem.
time, sharing a lot of really great information about solar. If you guys have any questions, would definitely recommend just contacting Jason. Jason, what is the best way people can contact you if they have a few more questions or if they're interested in learning more?
They directly on my phone number, or email.
Hmm.
I have a Facebook page also. Jason A. Solar Consultant. Um, and my phone number, should I say it?
If you'd like.
Okay, 386-264-2138. And I've got yard signs all over Flagler County that have my phone number on it. If you see a yard sign that says "We're going solar," that's the homeowner that I helped go solar, and it's
Nice.
got my phone
Oh,
number on it, and I've got the
cool.
number on the side of my truck. So,
There you
um,
go.
yeah, I'm just trying to save people money and put them in a better position with their power than they are, because the utility company's not going to help you out.
Right.
Um, so hopefully we can.
Yeah. answer a few questions. At least people can learn a little bit more because I think solar is one of those things where it's easy to get spooked, like you said, like solar is a scam. But it's hard for us to say that. Like I wouldn't say that because I don't know anything about solar, and I fully admit to that. So I think it's something that at least learn, and if you really don't like it, you really don't like it. But it's something that at least now you have more knowledge than you did before, which in my opinion is always a good thing. So I'll make sure I have Jason's number, his Facebook page, and his email in the description so people can click and copy and paste that a little bit easier. Definitely reach out. Super, super amazing time. So thank you again, Jason, for the time. I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun and I love learning stuff.
It
So this was
was.
really great.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And to everyone listening, thank you so much as well. I really appreciate you and I will see you next time.